So this week in Liberty Collections, we have a McLaren. Mark, tell us all about it.
All right, so this car was designed by McLaren to compete with the Aston Martin and the Continental GT. If you can imagine how crazy that is, because you think about the size of a Continental GT, and you think about this. This is still a monocoque chassis. It is still a mid-engine car. It has the motor from the 720S in it, which is one of the fastest cars in production any place. But it's meant to be a luxury car. It has a very luxurious interior.
Is it a hatchback?
It is a hatchback, which is so crazy. You ready for this? So this is a mid-engine, high-performance supercar that has as much storage as a Toyota Camry. And when you combine the front and the back, you can get 2 suitcases in it, you can get golf clubs in it, you can do all this stuff. The engine, actually, Doug, is right underneath all this very nicely appointed upholstery.
Yes.
Underneath there. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get in here. Now, when you open the door on these cars, it's a little weird. So you see a little button right here?
Yes.
So you push the button in, and that unlocks, opens the window and pops the door. Now,
makes the
if you hold the button down for a little bit, it'll put the window down. And then you literally just put your hand behind there and swing the door open.
Now, Mark, you and I are built exactly the same. So I'm getting in here, and it feels pretty comfortable.
The seat fits about right for you. So Doug's getting fired in here. So we want to start over here with our, get your foot on the brake. Yes. All right, so we're going to go active.
Okay, screen just changed.
We're going to go active on the suspension. We're going to get rid of this. Now let me show you some controls here. Right now we're in comfort setting. We can switch to sport. We can switch to track. Notice how the dashboard just changed. Now we're going to change the engine setting. So you notice how now when you go to track, it's all about the RPM and the gear.
I just heard a big change in the exhaust voice.
Yep. So see how the miles per hour is the least important thing. The tachometer, the gear is the most important thing. You look on the right-hand side there, you actually get tire temperatures and tire pressure, which, as you know, when we're on the racetrack, that tire temperature is practically as important as that tire pressure is for us. And we'll go out of track, we'll jump to sport mode. All right, so this is your first experience.
I'm gonna get myself some cheap sunglasses.
Yep. So this is a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. So it's literally like driving a manual transmission, but the car is doing the clutching.
Okay.
And you'll notice it feels like it. So we're at beautiful Clearwater Beach at the moment. Little bit of juice there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it's cold and the tires are cold.
Well, I did notice in the Cadillac yesterday, the road is extremely grippy around here.
Yeah, on this car...
But you can still get some rotation.
Yeah, in this car, you'll get all kinds of it until you get the tires heated up. And that includes even like when you shift to second and third until the tires heat up.
So does this have a hybrid system?
This is not. Now, McLaren does have a hybrid. I had one of those last week. That's the McLaren Artura.
Gotcha.
And that car is driven by a amazingly physically small V6. Yes. It has an amazingly tiny V6 motor with an electric boost on it. But if you think about the Formula One cars, the motors in the Formula One cars are 1.7 liter V6s that are generating 1,000 horsepower.
It's not the size, it's how you use it.
Exactly. And the reality is, if you can figure out how to get more horsepower out of a smaller physical engine, it makes more sense because weight is the enemy of performance.
Yep.
So if there's a possible way that we can get the horsepower out of a smaller engine, we reduce weight significantly.
Well, and we're doing that in the race car. So we've moved from the Ford platform back to a LS platform because it's got one cam, it's much simpler, and it's about 100 pounds lighter.
Now, by the way, the motor in this is the same as the 720S.
Okay.
So this has twin turbos, and the motor is just a 4-liter V8. This is not a big motor when you think about displacement. You know, when you compare that to, you know, like an LS motor or something. Right. But it's putting out a lot more horsepower. All right, Doug, how are we doing so far in the McLaren GT?
It is a blast to drive, even in heavy traffic. Really no turbo lag, which is pretty amazing too. With at this displacement and that amount of horsepower, you expect a little bit, but those turbos are spun up, ready to go. Super torquey, but the platform itself is super stable. You don't get front end lift when you hammer it. Yeah, it'll finish getting through a red light. So, a lot of confidence building, that's for sure.
All right, we're getting ready to enter the freeway. Oh, we got the power rein. Obviously, the McLaren GT just brings a smile to your face.
Well, listen to that turbo. Nice little whine, that's fine.
Gotta love a twin turbo setup.
Yeah, boy.
All right, Doug, so overall impressions now of the McLaren GT.
Everyone should get one.
I'm sure McLaren would agree with you.
Go to Crazy Mark's Car Emporium today.
How would you line this up against the American cars? Mustang, Camaro?
Yeah. So, driven C6, haven't driven 7 or 8. Much more stable. The grunt is there. Compared to your Camaro that we drove in one lap, frankly, more comfortable. Now, I would love to take it on the track, of course, and see, you know, like an NCM and see what the difference is.
I'm sure we will get that opportunity.
But, I'm going to have to try that later this month. If only there was a date coming.
And there's our Corvette right here. Let's see if we can get a drag race going. There she goes. Oh, she got the jump on you.